Hello, good day, or good morning, good evening. I'm excited to present to you today what some used to consider only a buzzword in the professional landscape, but now it's becoming a highly valued ability of nearly any employer, and that is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, abbreviated EQ or EI, is the set of abilities related to the understanding and use of emotions that affect social functioning. As a framework for today's discussion, I'm going to reference an article published this month in Forbes entitled A Leader's Guide to Navigating the Workplace with Emotional Intelligence. This article asserts that since its introduction to the mainstream around 1990, emotional intelligence has risen to become a more valuable ability in employees than technical ability itself. The rapid development of technology and training resources has made technical ability second to one's self-control and emotional understanding and stability. The idea here is that technical ability can be learned by anyone with a high emotional intelligence, but a high technical ability does not necessarily afford one the ability to achieve a high emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence has been defined by four unique abilities which fall under its umbrella. You can see them on the screen here. The first is self-awareness, and that's obviously the ability to recognize and understand your own emotions. The second is other awareness. Now, this is the ability to recognize and understand the emotions of other people. The third ability that falls under this umbrella is emotion regulation. Now, this is the ability to recover quickly from emotional experiences. We all face them, but those who become less rattled or for a shorter amount of time typically have a higher ability to regulate their own emotions. And fourth, the use of emotion. This is the ability to actually utilize emotions as a resource or a tool to accomplish something, whether professionally or personally. Now, the trend suggested in the article that we're talking about today is that emotional intelligence is more valuable than technical skill. On page 334 of our organizational behavior textbook, we read about two large organizations, the United States Air Force and L'Oreal Cosmetics, both of which have experienced success in measuring emotional intelligence prior to hiring employees or giving promotions or whatever the case. In both of these cases, with the Air Force and with L'Oreal, turnover rate was lower and job performance was better amongst employees who were evaluated by emotional intelligence over any other quality or ability when being considered for the position. In another Forbes article written by Alan Price, he suggests that a correlation between high emotional intelligence and those with both good communication skills and conflict negotiation. If this correlation is accurate, and it stands to reason that it is, then these emotional intelligence assessments could be an incredibly powerful tool for organizations of all kinds. The effect of using such assessments is that new hires or new promotions will be more emotionally regulated and better communicators. Drawing from my personal experience on this, I once interviewed for a government agency, and the job description was highly technical, but I was assured ahead of time that no experience was needed. I thought this was peculiar until I walked through the interview and assessment process in which they detailed the extensive training that successful candidates would eventually receive. What this agency desired was not someone with technical skill, but someone who could learn and utilize the skills that would be required to eventually perform the job. I'm also aware that many other governmental agencies use such assessments, as do retailers, restaurants, and many other types of organizations. So, emotional intelligence is important, perhaps of the utmost importance, to organizations of all types. But is there still a venue in which technical skill or some physical or cognitive ability is of superior importance? Well, here's my theory. Emotional intelligence is important, but its importance is not always superior to other abilities. And this is definitely the case when it comes to skilled contractors, laborers, or manufacturing and other line workers of various types. If we're discussing importance in industry, then emotional intelligence probably does have a place in the trades, but only in owners and managers and other professionals who work within that setting. Though, as our primary Forbes article states, employers often do prioritize emotional intelligence over technical ability, this is not always the case. There is still a place in our modern workforce for individuals and even groups collectively who don't have a high emotional intelligence. If my assertion here is true, it's a very good thing. Back to Alan Price's Forbes article, he talks about a researcher named Travis Bradberry, who's an emotional intelligence expert. Bradberry's studies suggest that only 36% of people have what could be considered a high emotional intelligence. So in the face of a rising number of emotional assessments and perhaps a marketplace demand that employees and candidates be more well emotionally equipped, there must be a place for the rest of us. There must be a place in which physical or cognitive ability is more critically valued than emotional ability. I believe the best examples of these positions are found in skilled labor, but there must be many other jobs in the marketplace for all the people who are not a part of this 36%. Thanks for watching today. This first reference is not an article that I cited in this presentation, but I did consult it in formulating some of my ideas. The second reference here is the primary article I cited from Forbes. The third one by Colquitt. That is my organizational behavior textbook from which I derived several terms and definitions, as well as the information about the Air Force and L'Oreal. And the final reference on the page is the second Forbes article that I cited a couple of times throughout the presentation. Thank you and have a good day.